Hello again. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about what goes on inside a cruise terminal. You can't film in there. You're not supposed to. Some people might, I don't. It's a matter of security, like U.S. Customs and Border Control. So I'm going to tell you exactly what happens when you get in a cruise terminal, because if you haven't been on a cruise before, you're probably extremely curious. So when you arrive to the cruise port, you check your baggage in with the porter, and then you have to go into the cruise terminal. That's the big mystery. What happens when you go through those doors? Before you walk through the terminal doors, you have to have your driver's license, passport or birth certificate, and cruise boarding papers in your hand. The people at the door check those things before you can go in. And as soon as you show them that and they verify it's all correct, then you go through a little security area. So when you go through the doors, you're just gonna have your carry-on and yourself. Okay, maybe your purse, a backpack, whatever. You are going to go through a metal detector, and all of your stuff, everything, your phone, everything is going to go through an x-ray machine. And that's right when you go into the doors of the cruise terminal, like literally right there. Once you go through that, you will get your carry-on stuff from the x-ray machine area, and you will proceed to the big check-in area, waiting area, which is usually on the next floor. You just take like an escalator, elevator up to the top. Once you get up there, you're gonna go and get into a line to check in. Basically, it's a giant space with hundreds and hundreds of chairs to sit in, but you're not gonna sit in them yet. And a big old counter with people working, lots and lots of people working to check people in. And there's gonna be a lot of queue lines. They do have special queue lines depending on, if you're on Carnival and you do Faster the Fun. They have queue lines that are shorter or faster for people who have, like a higher tier on a different cruise line, like platinum or gold or whatever. If you sell with that company a lot, you get to go into more of a different line than the regular people. They have a line where if you're staying in a suite or maybe, like a specialty like the Haven, suites or something, there's a line for that. So basically, those kind of lines are going to be shorter than the regular lines. And the regular lines can be quick and they can be long. It just depends on when you get there and the cruise line, the terminal, and all that. When you walk up to the queues, there's usually people who work, at the terminal there, and they look at your boarding papers and they see what kind of cabin you have, or if you're supposed to go in a special line, and they direct you to the right queue. If you're just a regular person going on a regular cruise, nothing extra special or anything, they just tell you to get in the line and you wait. And it could be anywhere from 5 to 10 or 15 minutes. I haven't really waited that long before on any of my cruises. When you're next up in the queue and the next person is you, someone will raise a little thing saying, like number 15, and the person standing there will say, okay, go down to number 15. So you and your whole party go down to that little spot at the desk, and then you give them your stuff that you need to check in, which is your boarding paper, your driver's license or ID, your birth certificate, or your passport. And then they, on their end, they enter stuff in and check you into the ship. Sometimes they take your little picture with the thing on their computer to put in your file, so when you're getting off the ship later at a port, when you scan your ship ID card, the security is going to see your face pop up so they know it's you. So you're going to have a picture associated with your account. It's not going to be on the card, it's just going to be in their system. And when they're finished with all that, they'll ask you if you want to, if you haven't already done it, set up a credit card to use, on board for your onboard account, or cash. If you're using cash, you do that on the ship once you get on at the guest services. You don't have to do it right away, but you might want to go there right away. It just depends. Lines can get long once you get on the ship. And then when you're finished with that, they give you your cruise card. It's like a credit card. It's hard plastic. It says the ship sail date, all that kind of stuff on it. And then they'll give you a boarding number. A lot of times it starts with 1, and even if you're there really early, you might get a 4 or a 5, because the people in the suites or the VIPs, they're going to get the lower numbers. That's just the way it works. And you can get a 20 or a 30 depending on what time of the day you get there. So once they give you that boarding number, you have your cruise card. You can put all your paperwork away because you're done with all that stuff. You don't need it anymore until you leave the ship or get off at port. And they will tell you to go have a seat, and you can sit down anywhere you want in the whole terminal, get comfy, and wait until they start calling numbers to board the ship. There are drink machines, snack machines, plenty of restrooms. Depending on the cruise line, they might have tables set up with cookies or water or lemonade or coffee and stuff like that it's complimentary while you're waiting. I usually get a drink on the machine. You can't bring drinks in with you downstairs when you go through that x-ray machine. They throw away drinks. If you have a water or something, it's open, finish drinking it before you go through the line. So basically when you get up there and you have your everything ready and you're just waiting to board the ship, you're not going to have any water or anything, so you might want to use the machine. There's internet usually in the terminal, so you can use your phone, but you have to be careful because you're not supposed to take pictures, take videos, anything at all inside that terminal. So if you're doing your phone, just make sure you're just doing your phone and you're not, you don't want them to see you taking pictures and stuff. Even though it's exciting, you're not supposed to take any pictures in the terminal at all. So you're sitting there waiting, super excited, probably hungry, ready to get on the ship, which, by the way, they usually start calling numbers at 11:30 or 12. So you wait until your number is called. One thing I like to do, this is a tip, is, if you're going to do this, do it the way I do it so you're not creating a problem. But basically, say you have number 6 and they call number 5. They don't want everybody with number 6s to go up and mingle with number 5s and create like a big mess. So what happens is when you're in the terminal, there's usually lots of glass windows and you can see the ship behind, the people that work there. So there's this huge terminal, lots of glass windows, a big old desk. It's huge. All the people behind the desk that work there, and then behind them, all the windows and the ship you can see. It's even more exciting because you just want to get on it, So on both sides, there are elevators and escalators that take you to the floor above, which is just where you walk down the hall, where you get to the gangway, and you walk on the gangway, and then you go on the ship. So basically what happens is when they call your number, you proceed to that escalator. There's someone from the terminal that works there. They check your boarding pass number to make sure you're the right number, and then you show them your ship ID to make sure that you're supposed to be there. And then you go up the escalator, and then you're in a long hallway to the gangway. And when you get to the end of the long hallway and you get to the gangway, they're going to check your ship ID again. Sometimes they take your picture there if they hadn't done it before downstairs. Then you proceed up the gangway, or down if it's a little ship, and onto the ship. Check your ship ID to make sure that you're supposed to be there, and then you go into the ship. Now, once again, if they didn't take your picture downstairs and they didn't take it in the hallway before the gangway, or the gangway, they'll take it right there when you're standing on the ship, like right when you go into the doors. Actually on the deck before you go into the doors of the ship, but actually on the ship, or when you go through the doors, they have it set up to scan your cards. So when you go onto the ship, they're going to scan your ship card, and then you're on the ship and you're free to do what you want for the whole entire trip. So here's where my tip comes in. Say you have number 6, they call number 5. Like I said, they don't want everybody to go hang around the escalator area, causing a flow of traffic and a big mess. And some cruise lines are more organized and better at this whole thing in the first place. But what I do is when they call number 5, I still sit there and I wait, but I watch the number 5s who are getting on. And when almost all the number 5s are done, because at first it'll be like a big group of people, and they'll go up the escalator, go up the escalator, go up the escalator. When there's just a few number 5s left, I know they're about to call number 6 because I've done this so many times. I'll get my stuff and I'll walk over there, and by the time that I get there, they call number 6 and I'm just kind of first in line. Now, I don't guess there's really any benefit to that except for, you kind of beat the little crowd, but they're very small groups. The boarding group numbers they call are not huge, maybe even 20 or 30 people, if even that. So it's not like you're going to have to stand there for 10 minutes trying to get on the escalator to get to ship. It's just something that I do just so I can, if you have like a carry-on that you're pulling, you can maneuver easily. So yeah, once it's your turn, you show them your ship ID, you go up the escalator, you go down the hall, show them your ID again before you get on the gangway, you go up the gangway, you show them your ID, and I mean the ship ID, not your driver's license. So you have to always have it out once you're called. Always from that point have your ship ID ready. Show them your ship ID again, and boom. You show it when you get on the ship, and then you're on the ship, and that's it. And that's how the boarding process goes. From there, you can do what you want. You can go have lunch, you can get a spot by the pool, you can go to guest services. If you have any questions about your cruise or something isn't right, or you want to set up your credit card or your cash, for the entire cruise, because it's cash free and you're going to be using your ship card for everything. So you have to have a credit card or cash linked to your account. So if you don't do it right away, you're not gonna be able to buy anything. A lot of people do credit cards online, like they register their credit card online before the cruise, so they're all ready to go. I like to do cash a lot of times. It's just, personal preference. And remember, you can't film, take pictures, anything. Once you step inside that terminal, even you're not supposed to in the walkway or the gangway or anything like that. I know a lot of people do on the gangway of the ship, but they don't just want you taken. They might say, hey, you can't do that, But it's a really simple process, and it does go by very quickly. It's very pleasant. There's nothing like getting to the cruise port, seeing your ship there for the first time, and then, dropping off your luggage and going in the terminal and going through all those steps, because you're just getting closer and closer to getting on your ship. When you're actually checked in and you have your ship card, that's always exciting. I always take a picture of it. I just hold it down towards the floor and take a little picture of it. And walking down that, when they call your number, and walking down the hallway and walking on the gangway and stepping foot onto the ship for the first time, it's just amazing. It really is. And it's a whole different process when you get off the ship. When you go to disembark the ship back at your port. And I'm actually going to be making another video about that soon, so watch for that. And you guys subscribe and like the video and make sure to watch often. Bye, and I hope you guys have lots and lots of fun on your cruises. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, just leave them below.